So first of all, I want to welcome everybody to our Switzerland webinar. And I've been very excited about this for a long time. I think we planned this a couple of months ago, and we were able to coordinate with Urs, who is with Bucher Travel, and he's kind of my expert on the ground in Switzerland. I use them exclusively for Switzerland. They've done a fabulous job for us. So I want to thank you, Urs, first for joining us and spending your time with us. I know it's evening in Switzerland, so I appreciate that. You've had a full day. My name is Lisa Torgerson, and I am the Director of Leisure Travel Services for Travelex International. And one thing I want to do before we get started is, as we go through the presentation, at the bottom, you'll see a Q&A box or a chat box. If you want to chat, type in your questions, we will save those for the end, and then Urs will be able to answer these for us as we go along here at the end of the presentation. So Urs, I'm going to introduce you. This is Urs from Bucher Travel, and I'm going to let you take it away.
Thank you very much, Lisa, for those very nice words. I'm very excited to present Switzerland and Bucher Travel in the next 45 minutes. Welcome and good morning. I'm very excited to start working with you. I will present to you Bucher Travel Inc., who we are, where we are, what we do best, and what is unique and special about us. The focus on this webinar is Switzerland, the top routes to discover Switzerland, and the highlights of Switzerland. By the way, if you're asking which mountain that is on that first slide, that's the Mount Matterhorn, the iconic mountain that looks like the Toblerone chocolate, and it's a must-see in Switzerland. Perfect. So before we start, a quick history, our history of Switzerland, of Bucher Travel. We started the company about 160 years ago. So we've been in the business for over 2 centuries. We must know Switzerland by now. We started as a travel agency and transport company. Nowadays, we have over 45 employees in Lucerne and 4 departments, incoming events, a bus department, and a travel agency. On the right side, you see the 2 owners. Mario is the CEO, and Freddie is co-owner of the company. So that was back in the days, the picture on the left side, when we escorted, or when we had travelers or visitors in Switzerland. For all the advisors, those are the people you need to know who we are. Mario's the owner on the left side. He's been in the business for 25 years and owns the company for 20 years. Sandra Amstein is the head of the department incoming. She knows everything by heart. She's been in the business or with the company for over 38 years. She's present on all leisure fairs, and myself, I'm with the company for 6 years, and I'm the director of sales and marketing. If it comes to booking or requests, proposals, we have Karin, Sandra, and Evelyn. Those are the senior or the deputy manager of Bucher Incoming, and they are fabulous and very know a lot and make your programs memorable. What do we do? Mentioned before, we have 4 departments. Our biggest department is the Bucher Incoming department, where we set the standards in tailor-made journeys for upscale FITs, special interest groups, and escorted groups to Switzerland. As mentioned, the group or the team is very knowledgeable, and they spare no effort to deliver the finest service for private transfers, for train travels, for hotel accommodation, up to full luxury all-inclusive packages. Important to know, we are the only on-site Virtuoso in Switzerland. So we know the standards and we deliver the finest service. Additionally, we have a lot of multilingual guides and unique services such as the Swiss Traveling Bellboy, a luggage service, which I'm going to talk a bit later about. Then we have a travel agency, Outbound, where we do travel outbound. Then we also have an events department where we do a lot of incentives and meetings. And very interesting, we have our own bus and limousine department. I'm going to show you here where we have our own vehicles, from coaches, big coaches. We have 12. Then we have a lot of limousines. We have a lot of minivans, all Mercedes brands. And then we have sprinters for families or larger or a bit bigger groups. Those cars are all ours. The drivers are ours. And we drive Tauk, Viking, Rick Steves, and many more. So we are the only DMC in Switzerland who have their own fleet of vehicles. So we don't rely on anybody else. And as I said, it's all Mercedes brands. We replace our fleet every 3 years. So the cars are always brand new. Coming to our guides and drivers, we have about 120 guides throughout Switzerland. They're all multilingual, so they all speak German and English, or French and English, and any other additional language upon request. We also have some Spanish guides and Portuguese or other languages. Then we have about 50 drivers to drive you around for private transfers. We have a lot of partners throughout Switzerland who deliver the same services if we need to rely on someone else. Please just keep in mind when booking, always request, when requesting guides, do it in advance. The booking situation is already for this year very well, again, even though we just started. So, coming to Switzerland and where we are. I hope some of you have been to Switzerland already. If not, if it's the first time, there is a lot to discover. So, first of all, Switzerland is in the center of Europe. You see it on the map on the right down. And there are two major airports, Zurich Airport and Geneva Airport. Sometimes it's good to fly in somewhere in Zurich and then Geneva out, or vice versa. There are about 100 direct connections to Zurich and Geneva from the US. Zurich, although, has a bit more connections than Geneva. The capital is Bern. It's also, the city center is also in a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Lucerne is where we are based. It's in the heart of Switzerland, and from there on we cover the whole country. And then obviously we have the highlights in St. Moritz and Zermatt in the mountains, Lake Geneva region in Geneva, Lausanne, Montreux, Interlaken, in the Bernese Oberlands, and obviously Bern and Lucerne. To give you an idea, Switzerland is about half the size of Maine. So it takes about, from north to south, 3 hours. And from east to west, it's also about 3 hours. So we're surrounded by 4 countries, Germany in the north, France in the west, south is Italy, and Austria is on the east. And there is also the Principality of Liechtenstein, which is also between Switzerland and Austria. Exactly. We not only do Switzerland, we also do a bit in those countries. So in the northern Italian part, in Munich, and in the Black Forest, and also around Courchevel and in the French Alps. We do, and northern Italy, like Como region, Milan. We also do programs if it extends or it's a combination, but always Switzerland has to be part of it. Now, Switzerland, 60% is covered with Alps. And that's also where the action is happening. If you look where all the hotels are, I have here all the Virtuoso properties. There are more throughout Switzerland. There are over 40, a bit more than 40 properties. Most of them are in Geneva, in Lausanne, Gstaad, Zermatt, and all in the Alps, Lucerne, Zurich. So wherever you travel in Switzerland, there is a Virtuoso properties, and some of them are, or most of them, or all of them, they're amazing. So we have the tours I'm going to show you later on, and passing through some amazing sites. Next, I'm going to show you are our best-selling tours. Please keep in mind, this is for inspiration. We can do the whole tour as mentioned, but often we tailor-made everything. So if you want to add something, an additional day which is not on that route, we're happy to adapt, and that's what we are famous for. So we have the first is all is Love is in the Alps. It starts in Zurich, goes to Zermatt, then starts in Zurich, goes to St. Moritz, then to Andermatt, Zermatt, Lucerne, and back. The next one starts in Geneva, goes through Zermatt, Lucerne, and Zurich. And it's all about food, so it follows a bit the food trends to nice restaurants. And the third one is called Precious and Historical. It starts in Geneva, goes to Basel and then Zurich, and you see some historical sites, some castles, and obviously some very nice museums and exhibitions. Let me show you now Love is in the Alps, and that's an ideal or the best route to for first-timers to Switzerland, where you see a lot in little time. As said, Switzerland is a small country, and you can cover a lot of ground in little time. And obviously, you can use all sorts of transportation needs, such as boats or trains or cars. Everything is possible. So Love is in the Alps, as mentioned, is our most popular tour. And you see the highlights of the Alps. You start in Zurich airport, where you travel for 2.5 hours by limousine to St. Moritz. You can also do that by train. Swiss trains is very easy to use, and we can issue train tickets. You have the Swiss Travel Pass, which you can use to all transportation, public transportations in Switzerland. So in St. Moritz, it's 320 days of sunshine. It's a summer and winter destination, and St. Moritz stands out with its cosmopolitan flair, with its elegance and style. And you can do excursions by the Glacier Express. That's the train you see up on the left. In the south, obviously, it's bordering Italy, so you have a lot of Italian speaking. You can do a day trip to Italy, and then and enjoy, obviously, the Alti Plateau. So coming into St. Moritz, we have the Hotel Bedrutz Palace and the Kulm, both beautiful Virtuoso properties on the lake of St. Moritz. St. Moritz is about up on 7,000 feet. We have also smaller hotels if someone wants not to stay in a five-star resort or five-star hotel. Exactly. So in St. Moritz, popular is the horse, the horse carriage ride to the Rosec Valley. That's on the bottom of a huge glacier, which we include in that tour. And then we also do a day trip to Diavolezza Glacier. It's up on 3,000 feet. And the fun thing is, it's the longest cable car in Switzerland. And you actually have an amazing view up on that glacier. There are also some activities up there to do, which we could include. It's now from, from St. Moritz. We further take the Glacier Express. That's this one here, to Andermatt. Now, the Glacier Express is the slowest fast train. It is built in the 1930s, and it takes about 7 hours and 30 minutes. It covers 290 bridges and 90 tunnels, and you go through remote alpine regions. You will also travel along three rivers that float in 3 different seas. So the inn goes into the Danube and the Black Sea, and then you see the source of the Rhine, which goes in the North Sea, and you see the Rhone that goes into the Mediterranean Sea. There is a first class on it. There is a second class, and they have a new excellence class. And the excellence class, it's quite interesting. They have limited seats. It's 20 seats in a wagon, and it's only window seats. 5-course meal is included, infotainment, bar. And it's the best way to travel in the Glacier Express. Catering is obviously also possible in the first and second class, but it's not included. What's important to know, seat reservations are mandatory, and as I mentioned, we can issue the tickets. So you see the wagons, they all have panoramic windows, and it's what we do is we travel in that package only the middle distance to Andermatt. And in Andermatt, it's a new ski region. Interesting, Vail Resorts from the US just acquired or bought the ski resort in Andermatt, where we have the Chedi Andermatt. It's a beautiful Virtuoso property. really nice, stylish, with Michelin star restaurants. Exactly, and it's in Valley, dead center of Switzerland. From here on, we travel on, or you will travel on to to Zermatt, where the Mount Matterhorn is. With the Montserrat Palace, the Virtuoso property, amazing hotel, where you have this most spectacular and best view on the Mount Matterhorn. What we do here is we do the crystal ride, or you do the crystal ride. The crystal ride goes up to the highest railway station in Europe. It's up on 3,800 meters, or in feet, it's about 12,000 feet up. And you travel by the Mount Matterhorn. So it's going up to the Mount Klein Matterhorn, and the crystal ride is glass bottom gondolas with Swarovski crystals, and all of a sudden, and music is playing, and all of a sudden the light goes on, and then it's see-through. So before it's foggy and then see-through, it's quite adventurous, and it's a must-see. And you have the perfect view on the Mount Matterhorn and on the Italian side. Then we also have, you would also do a city village walk, and there is a museum of the first ascent, which happened to be in the same year of our founding year in 1865. Exactly. From Zermatt on, it goes to Lucerne, and Lucerne at the Hotel Schweizerhof, there has just a new hotel opened. It's called the Mandarin Oriental, and it's a Virtuoso property on the lake, and also the Birkenstock Resort, which is a beautiful Virtuoso property in Lucerne. And Lucerne, what they do is you go up to the Mount Stanzerhorn. It's a Swiss local mountain, not so high, about 7,000 feet, but it has the first convertible cable car on 2 stories. You see it in the upper picture. It's an amazing mountain because it's one of the first mountains, so you have the whole scenery of the Swiss Alps, and then in the evening you do a dinner on a lake cruise on one of those paddle wheel steamboats. Those are in place over 100 years and still run and do amazing dinner cruises, because you have the whole scenery of the Alps on Lake Lucerne. That's, by the way, Lucerne, and Lucerne is also where we are based. So that's the Chapel Bridge. It's where Switzerland was founded, so you have a lot of history. So coming to a next one, also a very popular tour. It's called All About Food, and it's following the good restaurants, and it starts in Geneva, going along Lake Geneva to Montreux. Montreux is an artist. It's where the Ferment the Ferment Palace is based, the Virtuoso property, and it is where Freddie Mercury used to live. So you have a lot of artists. There is also still the studio of Freddie Mercury. There are other things to visit. And then afterwards, you will go to Zermatt, see the Matterhorn. So being a first timer, I always say, go to Zermatt, see the Mount Matterhorn. It's so iconic, it's so unique, and it's a must see in Switzerland. From there, you go to Lucerne and Zurich. So it's a bit similar route before, but you start in the French part. It's called All About Food. And then the third tour, which is also popular, is called Precious and Historical, and it follows a bit more the museums and the arts exhibition and art exhibition. We have 3 major cities which are famous for, which is Geneva, then Basel, because also of Art Basel. And Art Basel is also something we can get ticket for if you have if you want to visit, or if you have clients you want to visit. We have the Baylor Foundation, which we do unique tours, and then from there we go to Zurich, where we have the some Zurich museums and exhibitions. So those are the 3 tours. However, we tailor-made everything. We can combine everything. we can combine, it can add days. So it's easy to cover Switzerland in a short time. Exactly. So I showed before already a panoramic train, which was the slowest fast train, the Glacier Express, but we have way more panoramic trains through Switzerland. There are actually 5 panoramic trains through Switzerland. The Golden Pass, which goes from Montreux all the way to Lucerne, which they renewed, and for this year 2023 they have new wagons, so this is quite interesting. Then there is the chocolate train. It's a nostalgic little train from Montreux to Gruyere. It is out of beginning of early 1900s, and it looks a bit like the Orient Express. At the end, you end up at a chocolate place called Gaillet company factory, where you can also do chocolate workshops. Then from Lucerne to Lugano, to the Italian-speaking part of Switzerland, we have the Bernina Express, the Gotthard Express, excuse me. It's a combination of boat and trains. And then there is the Bernina Express from St. Moritz to Tirano, Italy. And from St. Moritz to Tirano. And then there is also a connection from Tirano to Lugano. So those are the panoramic trains, and obviously the Glacier Express, which I mentioned before. For all the panoramic trains, a seat reservation is mandatory, and I always say, coming to Switzerland, you have to try one of the trains, because they are on time. Even if you take a commuter train, they're all very clean. They're on time, and they run through to scenic areas. So it's a must. Must do, and there is not one town in Switzerland you cannot reach by train. So we have a very dense net of trains, and interestingly, what we also have is the Swiss Traveling Boy, which I mentioned before, where we travel your luggage from hotel to hotel, and on the day of transfer, we will you can explore and do an excursion or an activity, and you arrive at the new hotel and your luggage is already there. So that's a very nice service. We also do that if you want to move on to Italy, to Lake Como, for example, and we can travel. You can transport your luggage over the border into the next country. So when you arrive at the hotel, your luggage is already there. Top destinations, you've already seen it before in the tour.
Urs,
Yeah.
before you move on, so you don't have to go back to that, somebody did type a question in that says, would you please review the 5 trains and their routes again?
Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't. Where do I see the comments?
Well, it's in the Q&A. I just noticed it and thought, if you can just, before you go too far, if you could just review that again.
Yeah. So I don't see the Q&A, unfortunately.
That's okay. I'll monitor it for you.
Yeah, if there is a question, thank you. So coming back to thank you very much, Lisa. So coming back to the panoramic trains. So we have those 5 panoramic trains in Switzerland you can do. It's the Golden Pass from Montreux to Lucerne. There is the chocolate train from Montreux to Gruyere. We have the Bernina Express from Lucerne all the way to Lugano. This is a combination of first boat on Lake Lucerne and then train. And then there is the Bernina Express, which is UNESCO World Heritage, from St. Moritz to Tirano. And there is a connection, an additional bus connection to Lugano. However, we would normally do that by a transfer. And then there's the Glacier Express from St. Moritz all the way to Zermatt, or vice versa. And as I showed before in the presentation, in the tour, you can stop in the middle in Andermatt, where the Chedi is, and you can break down the journey because it's 7.5 hours. I hope that that helped. Perfect. So, all right. Hold on. Okay. So, oh, sorry, another question, how many days of each tour? Shall I answer that now or shall I answer that later? So I'll answer all the questions.
Go ahead, Urs. I would say just go ahead and answer it. Then that way we can
Yeah,
make
so
sure
just
that we're
quickly,
answering everything. for
all
them.
the tours are 7 nights. Seven nights are all the tours we have in place. And we have that on our website, and it's also on the Virtuoso net. Where you have the breakdown of each day, what to experience, and the experience exactly. All right, so coming to the top destinations.
Hey, Urs, how many different hotels do they stay in that 7-night time period that you're talking about?
4 hotels.
Thank you.
4 hotels. Excellently. However, we never, to be quite honest, we never sell this exact program. So we always tailor-made. Obviously, for every client, we tailor-made the journey, and that's a good popular ground idea what to see or what to do in Switzerland in a week's time. All right, so top destinations in Switzerland, as you've seen with the programs, it's Lake Geneva region, Lausanne, Montreux, then Interlaken, Zurich, and Lucerne. Lake Geneva, just to sum up that, the highlights are the Olympic Museum on Lake Geneva. It's also the Olympic Committee and a headquarter of the Olympic Games, and it's the only one in the world. Then Charlie Chaplin lived on Lake Geneva, so you can visit his house where he lived for 15 years, and it's a quite fun thing to do. And there's the only water castle in Switzerland. It's called the Chilean Castle, and it's where Lord Byron wrote the story "The Prisoner from Chillon Castle." So it's a popular destination. Coming to Interlaken, Interlaken is very active. So we go up to the highest railway station called Mount Jungfrau Joch, which is in the middle. Then the Schilthorn is where James Bond was filmed in Her Majesty's service. You can still visit the restaurant. There is also James Bond World and astonishing view on the Alps, plus a lot of activities, paragliding, zip lining, and so on. So that is popular in Interlaken. Coming to Zurich, Zurich is the head of where chocolate is, where Lindt chocolate is from, and Lindt chocolate just opened a new, absolutely amazing chocolate experience world with the largest chocolate fountain. You see it here with 6-meter heights, 6-yard high, and they do chocolate workshops, bespoken, or you can just join a class. So and have a chocolate world to walk through. We do private tours here, and the spokesman or the face of Lindt is Roger Federer, and he lives just next by. So if you're lucky, you might meet him if you do the tour in Lindt, as he's often there with his kids. Then we have the largest European waterfall close to Zurich. It's the Rheinfall, and we have some watchmakers where we do tours, where we do watchmaking in Zurich. Then Lucerne, the highlights are definitely the Mount Pilatus with the steepest cogwheel train up on the Dragon Mountain, as we call it. Then the Mount Stanzerhorn with the convertible 2 stories cable car, and obviously the Chapel Bridge and the city center, the car-free Old Town with a lot of history and tradition. So no matter where you go in Switzerland, there are amazing activities to do, from bike tours to wine tasting to activities to first flyer zip lines or paragliding. You can do amazing excursions. If it's by helicopter around the Matterhorn in Zermatt, if you do a train tour, a panoramic train tour through remote areas, if you visit UNESCO World Heritage sites such as Bern, or traditional Swiss villages as the village of Gruyere, where the Gruyere cheese is coming from. So no matter wherever you go, you have an experience. And if you dare, you can also make your own Swiss Swiss thing. So let's, for example, do a chocolate workshop and learn how to make chocolate. We also do, we also offer cheese making courses. You learn how to make cheese. You can make your own Swiss Army knife at Victorinox, or if you dare, you can also make your own watch and take it home. Plus, you have to see one of the highlights, the alpine highlights. Almost on every mountain in Switzerland, there is a cable car going up. So it's like Disney World for adults. So you can go really up on every mountain and enjoy that excursion. And it's not just in summer. We also do a lot of packages in winter. Winter destination, Switzerland is a big winter destination too. So skiing is big in Switzerland. We just had a massive race, a big race in the Alps, ski race. So that's also possible. Now, coming almost to the end, mentioned before, the luggage service. Don't forget, we do the luggage service. So it helps a lot for you. You can travel luggage free by train, by boat, and we just bring the luggage to the next hotel. It's called the Swiss Traveling Bellboy. Exactly. Now to some our benefits, or the benefits from the following. With you benefit from the following with us when booking with us. We are Bucher Travel. We are a one-stop shop, so we do everything. If it's itemized, if you just need a guide, if you just need a reservation, a ticket, or if you don't need the whole package, we're here to help. We have a 24/7 service hotline, so you can always call us 24/7 if there is anything you need. As mentioned before, we have an own fleet of limousines and coaches, so we don't rely on anybody else. We have the Swiss Traveling Bellboy, where the luggage travels around. We're all our guides and drivers are multilingual, so you never feel lost, and that everybody understands. And if you book through us, the Virtuoso properties, then obviously you benefit always from all the amenities. Exactly. So that is a bit Switzerland in a nutshell. And if you're lucky, you see the alpine blowers and the flag throwers up on the mountain. So thank you very much for listening to me.
Wonderful. So if you have questions and you haven't typed them in either the Q&A box or the chat box, you may want to do that now. If you have any other questions that were not answered during the presentation. So we'll wait just a couple minutes to see if anybody has questions. Otherwise, if you think of questions afterward, you can always contact us here at the office. We have the ability to get in touch with Urs and his team to give them as much information about you as possible so that we can make the experience to Switzerland, just as he said, is what your expectations are. So they've done a fabulous job. I've used them myself many times for clients, and every client comes back and just raves about the service that they offer. So everything he said, I can back up and verify. So thank you, Urs. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure working with you.
Yeah. So I guess I don't see any questions, so we'll just leave it at that. But Urs, thank you so much for taking time with us today. We really appreciate your time and taking us on a journey through Switzerland. And I want to thank everybody for attending, and we appreciate you dreaming with us on going to Switzerland and you know, going down that avenue. So thank you very much, everybody, and we wish you a wonderful day.
Perfect. Thank you very much. If you want, I can also send the presentation if someone wants that.
Okay, perfect. That would be great. Yeah, if you could do that, and then that way I have it if somebody requests it.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Lisa. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.